All right, so we're gonna go live today with the one and only Rosie Rodriguez. I'm gonna set up the live in a Facebook group. Hold on a sec before you jump in, Rosie, that you can wave to people. Those of you who have used Zoom a lot, but maybe don't play with this button, in the upper right, a lot of these calls are normally interactive where we talk to each other, but if we get a lot of people on here and the boxes get small, Krista taught me this trick. You're gonna wanna hit the button that says speaker view, and you wanna change it to on the screen, you wanna have just the really big box so you can see feature Rosie, so she's mainly the one who's talking today. So in the upper right is a speaker view or gallery view, whatever that box says. You wanna make sure you have it in the appropriate view that works so you can see speaker featured nice and big. Because we're gonna interview Rosie, and we're going to find out how the heck she grew to 1,000 agents in her revenue share group in just under 3 years. It's mind-blowing. Let's see.
Jesse, if you want to make me co-host, I'll help you with like muting everybody.
Yeah, there's some background noise. I'll absolutely make you a co-host here. Hold on. Oh. It doesn't give me a choice to make you a co-host. That's so funny. It's only make a host. I'd only be able to make you a host. So I got it. I'm just going to mute everyone out for a minute. Mute all. All right, let's see. And you guys can now unmute yourself because I don't know who had background noise there. So if you want to participate, you're welcome to unmute yourself. Rosie, I'm going to unmute you. So you're here. You unmute yourself, Rosie. There you go. Say something, Rosie.
Hi, everybody.
There we go. All right. Let me get this live on Facebook and we will jump in. Actually, you know what, Rosie? We can just jump in while I'm getting us live because, let's see here. It's going to take me a minute. I want to make people wait. So the people who are really special, they're here. The people in the group, they'll watch it later. We'll fill them in, right? So if you want to just give people a little background while I set this up, who you are, how you ended up getting here, right? And then we'll start asking some questions. But give a little background on you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for having me, Jesse. First of all, I was thinking, what am I going to share today? And the very first thing that came up was like, man, it's so cool to be on this call with Jesse Zagorski, you know, because he's like one of the smartest people I know. You know, his brain works faster than like most people. So I'm just like, honored that you had me on here, Jesse, and that, you know, we're in business together. So thank you. I'll give you a little bit of background. So I've been in business for over 20 years. I started in mortgage and I did that at a really high level. Probably my office was closing about 500 transactions a year. My personal pipeline was about 30 per month. I got bored with that. In the early 2000s, decided to open up an escrow company and did that and still have that. And then I got bored with that and decided to open up a Keller Williams office. And so grew that to about 150, 170 agents right before the crash. I opened that in 2006. We went down to like 70 agents in 2008. Then we brought that back up. And then I ended up finding a partner. That didn't work out. So I decided to kind of, you know, pick what I was going to do with my time. And what I saw was making the biggest return was my personal production, my mortgage company, and the escrow. And I also have a farmer's office that I opened along the way. So I came across EXP in 2018. I joined in January 2018. I thought it was something I'd never heard of. It sounded, you know, I was an independent broker, and I was like, well, you know, what's it going to cost me? $16,000, you know, in my commissions, you know, versus keeping it all by myself. And, you know, one thing that I've learned is just that I really love working as a team, and I know that you benefit more, you know, from collaborating. And I love the whole idea of leverage and empowering other people. So I joined, and then at that time I was actually working with David Golden. When I say working, we were accountability buddies. I had met him a few years prior when he was doing health coaching, and then we became friends. He was looking for a coach, and I think from what I hear the story is that was off of Jesse Zagorski's suggestion.
It was. So David and I were at an event. And by the way, the reason this story is helpful for you, it's one, so you know the context of Rosie, because Rosie is if you're part of our organization, if you're watching this and you're not part of our organization, then you can still be friends with Rosie. But if you are in our organization, Rosie is part of your support team. Like, you can leverage Rosie anytime you want to talk to someone to validate EXP. Is it really this good? You can have them talk to Rosie. She'll get on a Zoom call with them. So you need to know what her background is and her strengths. But in addition to that, like, none of us would be here if not for Rosie, but I guess I am involved in this story too, because long before I joined EXP, David Golden was at a conference with me. We were at a small, high-level mastermind, and David was pretty down on his luck and not happy, and life was not going good. He was really pretty down for David. If you know him, he's normally a happy guy. And I'm like, dude, you got to, like, we were sharing a hotel room. Like, we always share a room. It's just a tradition we do for years and years, and business partners with him for 10 years. Like, dude, you got to put yourself out of what you're doing. Like, go, what do you want to do in life? Go get an accountability partner. Can't be me. I don't want to hold you accountable. Go get an accountability partner. So he called Rosie. Little did I know that would change his life. So I don't take responsibility. It probably would have happened anyway. But yeah, that's why, Rosie. He called you because I said, go find someone who holds you accountable. And that was Rosie.
Yeah, that's funny. He put it in a post, and because I had my experience with Golden, with coaching, I was like, he's a smart guy. I know he's a smart guy, and I had just finished coaching, just privately in different industries I coach, and so I was ready to work on my own goals. And I said, okay, he's smart, he's intense, he's an intense partner. I think we could work well. So that's how it started. And so I was looking for change and shift, and I did some radio advertising. Got referrals across the country, and I figured, well, let me kind of see what this EXP company is about. My sponsor is Rick Jiha. He owned 9 Keller Williams offices, and he's been a mentor for many years. I said, let me see what he's talking about. David was looking at another company, and we actually never ended up talking to the other company because he was so blown away by what this company offers, by EXP. So I joined. He joined 2 weeks later. And then, 2.5 years later, I think today I'm approaching 1,300 agents. So that's where we're at.
Okay, 1,300 agents. And how long has it been?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Let's say it one more time. 1,300 agents in 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
And for those of you guys, I know that, like, don't talk about numbers like this because you can't guarantee income and things, but you need to know how to calculate potential for revenue share. Revenue share is typically, the way the large organizations calculate it, is $820 per agent per year on average across large organizations. That's when you open up all your levels. So we don't have to talk numbers. We don't want to today, Rosie, necessarily, because it's putting it out there, but just know, if you're trying to calculate how much money could someone make if you had 1,300 agents in your group, you could make $820 times 1,300. Do the math. It's good. It's good money. There's a reason why Rosie smiles a lot. No, nothing to do with that. She's just an awesome person. All right, so I'm sure you guys have questions. Rosie caught us up to speed. I'm going to ask a couple of questions first, but then I'd love to open it up to you guys to just jump in, ask questions. Like, I don't know where everyone's at in terms of agent attraction. Are you looking for inspiration? Are you looking for actual how-to step-by-step details? Because I don't know if Susan's on the call. Let's see if Susan's here right now. She is here? Oh, see Susan Johnson right now. Susan told me, wait, is she here? I'm not the wrong view on the screen. Okay, cool. So Susan told me, a lot of people explain the EXP to me, but I never really got it. Oh, there she is. I just have to keep scrolling through my screen. There you are, Susan. So she said, a lot of people explain the EXP to me, but I never got it until I was in Las Vegas, standing in a room with Rosie Rodriguez, and she grabbed the pen and said, let me show you. And she went to the whiteboard and she broke it down. So let's start there, Rosie. What do you do in terms of explaining EXP to someone that I thought I'd explain the EXP to Susan? Apparently I didn't. Hundreds of other people had tried with her. Apparently they didn't. How did you communicate to Susan? What did you say, and how did you do differently that you actually, broke it down for her?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know. Everybody has a different way. We have PowerPoints, we have just conversation, we have 3-way validation. There's different ways of introducing people to the company. So I like to see things in writing, and then I do calculations, I do numbers, right, with whatever I'm doing. So that's just what I understand. That's my language. When I was talking to Susan, she just said, hey, I'm not really clear. Like, can you tell me again how this works? And so we did a very simple calculation. Since everybody's here, I'm just going to do it with you as if I was presenting it to you. Okay. So everybody grab a pen and paper and your calculator, so that we can do it together. And this is exactly what I do. And I don't think it's magic, but I think it helps people understand what's possible. So first thing I do is I say, okay, so
I'm just going to frame this up, because you just said it's not magic. Okay, you have 1,300 people total organization. How many have you had frontline?
Total in my front line, I've got like 51.
51. So
Yeah.
it may not be magic, but clearly you are doing something to communicate to 51 people that cause them to join the company, in addition to countless others. So even this isn't magic, guys. It works. Learn it. All right, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this is what I do. And I just take a piece of paper and we talk about, let me explain how this whole revenue share model works. Okay. So unlike any other company, when you invite other people to this company, like let's say you're super happy with the broker you're at right now, obviously you're going to be successful. You're going to have friends and family that say, hey, you know, I see you're doing well with real estate. Like, tell me about, I'm looking for a broker. I'm looking to get into real estate. I'm not happy with where I'm at. Like, how is it with you? And you're going to share because you're just a nice person, right? Not because you're a recruiter, but you're a nice person. You're going to share. We're a very social community. So when that happens with the broker that you're at, you know, it's a thank you. You know, obviously you have, you like where you're at, you like your broker, you want to do good things because you're a good person. So you're going to refer them, and the broker may give you you know, a Starbucks card, maybe take you to dinner or something as a form of appreciation, which is all that everybody else has done in the industry for, you know, I don't know, 100 years, you know, as long as we've been here. So this company does things a little bit different. To me, they make you a partner. You know, one of the reasons that I came to the company is because I've been an entrepreneur for the last 20 years. So I like to own things. I like to know that even if it's just like 0.01%, if I'm putting in my time and my effort into a company that, and I'm helping it grow, it feels good to know that I'm also building something for the future. So this company allows you to continue to sell real estate, just like you already do with your other broker. But when you help the company grow, when you put a little bit of sweat equity in, they're going to tie you to the commissions, you know, forever and ever and ever of that person. So it looks like this. Let's just say, Susan, you know, you've been in the business for 15, 20 years. You know a lot of people. And so people tend to follow you, I would say, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 people. My big goal was maybe in my first year, because I've been in the business for a while, I'll invite, you know, a dozen people, maybe 4 or 5 will come. So in 2 years, let's just say that I'm able to bring on board 10 people. Now I'm currently looking to grow my team. So I know that I will directly hire 3 or 4 anyways, you know, this year. So it really is just 5 or 6. So 10 people. Okay, so write this number down. Number 1, write 2,800. Okay, 2,800, and then you multiply that times 10. Okay, so can you do that math for me? What is that per year?
Do you want me to role play it with you?
Sure.
So that would be 2,800 times 10. That's $28,000.
Okay, 28,000. Okay, great. So you bring on maybe 3 or 4 people on your team. You bring on another 5 or 6, you know, to the company. So that's 10 people. So what that means is that as those people produce, and they only have to produce, you know, 5 or 6 deals a year, roughly. Okay, but let's just say, you know, they all produce. So that's 28,000. Those 10 people are then going to do the same thing you are, because they're super happy with being on your team. They like the company, the technology, they like getting leads, you know, everything that we've already talked about. So if those 10 people then bring on 10 people, okay? So line number 2, write 3,200. So 3,200 times 10 people times 10 is 100, right? So times 100, how much is that, Jesse?
$320,000.
Okay, great. All right, and so I'm just gonna go one additional level, okay? And I'm not gonna get too crazy here. I'm just gonna say, let's just assume that over the course of the next 5 years, each of those people brings on just two people, okay? So that's 100 times 2 is how much?
200.
200. Okay, third level is 2,000. Okay, so 2,000 times 200 is how much?
400,000.
400,000. Okay, so this is level 1 through 3. I'll give you the numbers on the additional levels, but let's just do the math here. How much are we at right now?
I need my calculator. It's a big number.
It is.
Let's see. We are at 720 and 28, 748. $748,000.
Okay, that's a lot of money, right?
What was that?
So that's a lot of money, I think. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, and so here's like a comment. I mean, Jesse, you've been in the business for a while, so I mean, I know you know, like I know, that not every agent does real estate. Some people do it as a hobby, you know, some people do it part-time. So, you know, I'm assuming based, you know, in California, I'm assuming that these agents are doing, you know, 6 deals a year. Okay. In other parts of the country, it might be 8, 9, 10. But let's make an assumption here. Let's assume that, wow, this number's kind of, you know, out of reach. I mean, personally, I've never made $720,000 just passively. So let's cut it in half. Let's say that half of these agents don't produce. How much is it now?
About 350,000 a year.
350. Okay. So 350, how much is that per month?
Let's see, I can give you the, I'll do the calculator per month though. That's 748 divided by 2, so 374 divided by 12. We're 31,166 per month.
Okay. So $31,000 a month. That's still a heck of a lot of money to receive passive, right? I mean, that's what some people make in a year, right? So let's just, you know, I'm kind of a skeptic, you know, and I like to like do the ultra conservative numbers. So I'm going to say, let's just assume that, let's cut that in half one more time. Okay. So where are you at?
Still making 15K a month.
You're still making 15K, right? Right. I mean, that's still a whole lot of money for me. You know, my big goal, Jesse, was, you know, $500, $1,000. My big dream was $3,500 because that's my mortgage payment. And, you know, I crushed that within 6 months. So it's pretty incredible. What do you think about this?
I love it. You make that every month?
Not every month. It goes up and down, but that is what you will collect on a monthly basis. Like, let me ask you, Jesse, if you were at $15,000 a month and maybe one month you didn't make 15, you made 11, would that be okay with you?
I'd be fine with that.
Okay. Now, I'm not even going, I haven't even gone into the additional levels, right? Let me just write these numbers down for me. Okay. Write number 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm not going to do the math because I know this has already blown your mind. So, so number 4, so we're at 2,800, 3,200, 2,000. Then we're at 1,200.
Yep.
800.
Yep.
2,000.
Yep.
And then 4,000. Okay.
Awesome.
So that's the way the numbers work. Now, I'll just let you know that it's not just going to be because, you know, you referred a couple of people. You do have to open up your levels. So if you want to write next to these numbers, like the people that you refer directly, you will always get paid on. But the people beneath that, you have to start doing like 5, you know, have 5 people, 10 people, 15, 20, and 25 down to level 6. And then it jumps to 40. Those are people that you have personally referred that are active. They're selling at least one house every 6 months. Okay. So not everybody that you invite is going to sell houses. Some people are just going to be excited about the opportunity, and that's great. Some people are just going to come because they want to do real estate. And by the way, we have like a ton of resources. We've got this awesome group. It's EXP Pros, where the agents get coached and trained by some of the speakers that have been, you know, some of the agents that are on stages all over the country. What we provide is a better way to do real estate. What we provide is the possibility, the opportunity for you to be able to create a different wealth stream. So, I mean, that's kind of how it works, Jesse. I mean, what kinds of questions do you have?
I'm going to say no questions right now. I'm going to pause because there's so many questions I could dive into for the sake of role play, but I just want to pause here and open up for discussion. That was awesome, Rosie. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched Gene Frederick's 8-minute revenue share video. This is Rosie's take on it. I don't know how many minutes that was. That was short, that was sweet, and it's incredibly compelling. And I love that your take on it is a little different. Like, isn't Rosie very authentic when she goes through this? Like, I love Mike Bjorkman. He's not on here today, so I can talk about him behind his back. Everything that comes out of his mouth sounds like the best script ever written, and they work, and they really are. But when you talk, Rosie, it doesn't sound like a script. Like, it's just you talking. It's a very different delivery than Mike. They're both effective. There's no one right or another. Like, I love Mike, and I love writing down Mike's scripts. But it's just, you got to find what resonates with you and what resonates with the people you're talking to. So what questions do you guys have? I want to open this up to questions from you guys.
Okay, I want to know where the 2,800 came from. What's that number? What does that represent?
Okay, so 2,800 is the amount of money that the company will pay you per year when that agent closes transactions. So for example, let's say that Jesse joined my team directly. I invited Jesse joined my team. So every time Jesse closes a transaction, I'm going to get 3.5% gross commission of that check that comes out of the broker's portion, not Jesse's portion. So the company collects $16,000
Right.
every year, right? So as Jesse closes transactions, obviously the company gets paid and I get paid. So it's really nice because that's why I feel like I'm a partner with the company.
So
You
the
know?
2,800 is the gross commission from each person in my organization.
It's the percentage of gross commission that you receive from anybody you directly, sponsored or brought to the company. And it's up to 2,800, right? So if Jesse only
Right.
sells one deal, I may only make $200, $300, or $400, which I'm still super happy about. But if Jesse keeps selling some real estate during the year, then every time he closes, on a monthly basis, the month closes, I receive, a percentage of that. And so
And then our second level, we get 3,200 per.
Right.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And Kathy, just so I know, is this part of the role play or for your own knowledge? Because I can show you a slide. Is this role play or knowledge for you?
Knowledge right now.
Awesome. Then let me show you a screen share. Because this will help for some of you seeing it visually if you didn't know how you wrote it down. This is taken from Brent Gove's slide deck. This used to be part of the EXP official slide deck. So EXP currently shows it this way. You guys can see my screen? EXP's official slide deck shows revenue share like this. I don't like this. Percentages are not compelling. Brent Gove still has the slide this way, which to me makes a lot more sense, right? First tier, 2,800. Second tier, 3,200. Third tier, 2,000. So Kathy, that's if you go to brentgoveresources.com and you go to agent attraction and webinars, right here, Brent's famous lunch and learn PowerPoint slides, download this. And I would just save this image to your phone. If you're ever somewhere and you're talking to someone, first of all, don't dive in immediately to like talking rev share. If you notice, Rosie said, hey, we've already covered all these other things, the marketing technology. This is like later for most people. Unless all they care about is rev share, this is later. But at some point, they're going to come back and be like, how did that work again? And I always send them this slide, right? Just like the fees for EXP, I have that one saved on my phone. I also have this one saved that I can always quickly send them this. Do you like this one, Rosie? Do you use this one too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so simple. Yeah.
Yep. Does this make sense, Kathy?
Yes, thank you.
Cool. All right. What other questions? Go ahead, Rosie.
Well, what I was going to say is if anybody wants to throw an objection, I don't know if I'll be able to answer it, but, since we're doing a role play, throw something at me. Let me see if I can answer it.
But Rosie, I work from home and I've got kids who I have to homeschool and I need an office. I need a private space that's all my own.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. My kids are a little older. So right now I'm at home with the whole COVID thing, right? So one thing about this company is that I've learned how to work this way. I've learned how to work virtually. So I really appreciate the journey that I've had with them the last 2 years because I've had to embrace technology just to be able to maximize, the growth of my business. But I also understand having to leave the house and go to an office. And so the awesome thing is that we have offices all over the country through our partnership with Regis. So with Regis, you can go into a professional office. You can have a station and work for the day. They're very nice. They're like super ultra luxurious looking executive offices. If you need to meet with a client, you can also reserve a room. There's a small cost, but how often are we meeting clients in the office nowadays, right? So if you need to unplug and you need to do that, that's absolutely a possibility. The benefit to that is that you'll also get to network with other people that are not in real estate, right? Like CPAs, accountants, people like that. Which are more likely to send you business than another realtor who's sitting next to you. So
another objection I've had is, oh, but Kathy, I'm only paying $580 per transaction right now and $500 for my TC, and it would take me a lot of transactions to make up that $16,000.
Yeah, I get that, and there's a lot of companies out there that have certain, just kind of like a fee-based structure. In your case, how many transactions do you close on a yearly basis?
Oh, to the people I'm talking to, they do like 6 or 7.
Okay, 6 or 7 deals, so just, quite honestly, doing the math, that's about $3,500 that you'll pay a year plus, a TC fee. Do you pay E&O too?
Yes, they do pay E&O.
Okay, maybe a couple hundred, something like that.
Actually, 1,600
A year?
a year they pay.
Okay, all right, okay. So let's just assume that it's going to be a little bit more if you work here, okay? Because you're doing 5 or 6 transactions. Are you happy with being at 5 or 6 transactions? Is that where is that your comfort zone? Are you good there?
No, I think I could do 10.
Okay, and then how long have you been at your brokerage right now?
About 3 years.
Okay, and how many years have you done 5 or 6 transactions?
About 7 years.
Okay. And so obviously whatever, support services or training or whatever it is that's there, hasn't worked. Whether you've plugged in or not plugged in, whether they've trained or not trained, whatever it is, wherever you're at right now, you're still the same, right? And so for me, I went from my office and I was just fine where I was at, and it actually cost me more money to join this company. But there's 2 things. One is I wanted to grow, okay? And we don't necessarily have the college or university of real estate anywhere that you can make an application to and go. So once I realized that I was going to plug into, a network of people that I was going to be able to learn beyond where I was in my little town and my, my world. For me, knowledge is very important, because if you teach me how to go from 5 to 6 transactions, to maybe, 10, then 15, then really I'm making a ton more money, right? If we're talking about the money. But you have to be able to put in the time, and you have to be able to sacrifice a little something. So for me, if I was going to have to pay $8,000 to learn how to make another 50 or 60 or 70,000, then that would be well worth it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but I really like going into my office and hanging out with all my people. And, sometimes we take a Thursday off and we go out on the boat, we have a few beers, we do some skiing. I mean, it's just so awesome to hang out with my office peeps.
I get that. And I love being around people too. And what was funny is that I didn't realize how small my world was, because now, I get to talk to people from all over the country that are very much like me, right? It's not just limited to, the 3 or 4 or 5 people that I like in my office. Now my network has expanded to 50, 60, 70 people across the country. And that hasn't been because I know all these people across the country, but my great friend Kathy, she joined, right? And so, Kathy and we like the same thing. So we tend to have the same kind of friends, right? And in real estate. And so all of a sudden, I've got this whole new community of people. And the wonderful thing about it is that I'm not in competition with them. So even though we're great buds and we can, you can go out, on the boat and chit chat and you guys have a great time and you guys are friends, it's different because now I get to learn, from, people like this guy, Jesse, right? And he's like a coach, and so I'm talking to him and I'm part of it, his group. And so, it's not just the friendships are great, they're awesome, they're amazing, and the friendships will continue if we're really friends, right? And I still have friends at other companies, but at the end of the day, I have to go home. And when I go home, I have to feed my family, right? I have to put food on my table. And let me be honest with you, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not 25 and excited to, jump and try all these different things. I'm starting to think about my retirement. I'm starting to think about, what am I going to do 5 years from now? I mean, if I'm going to still be able to hang out with my friends on the boat, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to pay my bills somehow. So I have to think about how I'm going to sell more real estate, put money away, how I'm going to invest, and build some kind of, residual income for myself. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, growth takes change. Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Good questions, Kathy.
So what about this virtual broker, man? How do I know who I'm talking to is really a real person? If you're all virtual, is everything AI? I mean, do I get to talk to somebody personally? What if I need my broker? What do I do then?
Oh my gosh. So here in California, we have 6 brokers, and let me show you really quickly how easy it is to talk to them. So watch, boom, 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 boom. Okay, we're probably going to wait no more than 2 to 5 minutes to talk. How long do you wait to talk to your broker sometimes?
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
and by the way, I'm keeping my mouth shut because I want Rosie to keep doing it, but if someone ever says that, by the way, Kathy, you got a good sense of humor. Most people on here, I know who I know. I know you guys got a good sense of humor too. Feel free to make it a joke on the phone. How do I know they're real if it's virtual? Just be like, oh, they are AI. They're absolutely are. They're not real people. It's just a computer, but they're smarter than any broker I've ever met. Yeah, and then just say I'm kidding. And you go with it, right? Like if they have these ideas about our company, like no, they're real people, real human beings. Like you can get their phone number and call them, or you can go into the world and be as a little avatar. It's your choice. They're still human beings. I like making jokes about stuff like that. Then. All right, good questions, Kathy. What else? You get more? You got good ones.
You know, one of the things that I do is I actually have my kids watch the virtual world with me, and they think it's so much fun. But one of the things that I got from one of the parents of one of the kids' friends was, well, what do you just play video games all day? What is this? You know, EXP. I never even see an office anywhere. What's this all about? Is it just like, you know, just video games, virtual real estate? And I'm like, nope. And then I pulled this card when I talked to some people. I'm like, hey, Krista Mayshore joined EXP, and if she joined EXP, then that's good enough for me. And that's the honest to God truth. I tell people that because everybody knows Krista.
I love it. I love it. Well, especially in your area. So
yeah, yeah, big time.
I love it. All right, I had someone send me a message privately, so I won't share. If you want to join in and take yourself off mute, you're welcome to ask this question directly. But they asked, my main motivation is not money, rather it is helping agents grow in their career. So is there another way to attract? And Rosie, you just kind of started touching on that a little bit in terms of helping agents grow. Do you have other things you would use in terms of that? Because I agree, not everyone's motivated by the rev share. I love the rev share. Some agents just want to sell more houses, and some people want to help agents sell more houses. How do you address that?
Well, that's like a really, really good comment, and it's a good thing to talk about right now. See, what you're going to find, and this was, you know, my bumps and bruises, is that I was so excited, but, you know, I was excited because of the business building opportunity, and I was excited because now I get to train and coach agents like I've done for many, many years, freely, you know, just give all my information away, help them grow until, you know, from here to the moon, and we're always going to be in relationship. So that was really attractive to me. You know, before it was like, okay, I'm here, whether it's my assistant, my buyer's agent, or my agents in my office. I'm working with them, I'm training them up, and I'm just the type of person who's going to give you 1,000%. Like, I'm not going to hold back information because I don't want you to grow more than I do. I'm just going to train you, and like the day that you decide to move on, then you decide to move on. But nonetheless, you know, when you're working and you're training and you're coaching people, it does take time, you know, and there's times that they call you at 7 o'clock in the afternoon and you pick up the call and you're in the middle of dinner and you're taking time away. So it's really nice to be able to know that the efforts that you put in today, you know, are going to be fruitful tomorrow. And so continue to do the coaching and the training, you know, but now you've got like a lifeline. Now you're building a legacy. It doesn't just stop at that one agent. You get to see them grow. You get to see them bring on their kids and their grandkids, so to speak, you know, agents. So it's really nice. What I want to add is that the bumps and the bruises were, I was excited about business building, right? Oh my God, you know, just 10 agents could be this, you know, that was my thing. And so I went in just talking to everybody from my point of view. And I quickly realized that people don't want to talk about that. The average agent does not want to talk about building a business, because why? They've never built a business. You know, there's very few people that have gone out and, you know, taken that risk and put their name on a lease. And, you know, that's another level of a conversation. And so, you know, how is someone who hasn't done that going to relate to your excitement and enthusiasm? It's still fearful, right? It's still scary, right? And so the thing that most agents are thinking about is what we are, as a real estate company. So it's really, really important that you listen to what's important to them. You do less talking and you ask more questions, because most agents are going to want to know how they're going to sell more real estate. And are you prepared to answer that question? You know, you guys have amazing people like Susan, like Krista, like Jesse and Mike. And I mean, you've got so much to offer, you know, like I would, you know, if I was an agent and I get to be coached and trained and supported by a Jesse and a Krista and a Mike, I mean, I'm not going to go to my local broker. You know, I'm going to go with these guys, right? Now these brokers get to be my support system and I get to learn from them. So you have to be prepared to answer that question. How am I going to sell more real estate? Because that's going to be probably that's the first thing that agents are looking at. There's never been something like this where they get to build another vehicle, right? So listen to what's important. Are they looking to sell more real estate? Are they looking to retire? Are they looking for a better compensation? I mean, just their split, right? What are they looking for? Are they looking for technology, a CRM?
I love how you say that, by the way, because I always say we're looking for pain points, but you just look what they're looking for, right? That's a very easy way to say it. What's important to them? And if you guys remember Rosie's history, she was an OP, an operating partner at Keller Williams for years and years. That's where you learned all this stuff, right?
I think that's part of where I learned it. And I think it's just, I love people. So I'm always like listening. I'm intrigued by what's going on in their world. And that's genuine. I'm genuinely interested in what people are about, so.
And you can't fake that. I mean, you can learn it. Those of you who want to learn it, read the book, The Like Switch, L-I-K-E, like the light. Have you read that book, Rosie?
I have.
Oh, it's so good. So everything you do naturally, this guy used to recruit spies for the FBI. And he breaks down the science behind how to be likable. It is an amazing book. And what you do naturally, he actually teaches people how to learn how to do it. And then you can take what you do even to another level, and you can take someone who's not very likable and make it pretty likable. It's pretty cool. L-I-K-E, the like switch. Let's change gears for 1 minute here because we have 20 minutes to the top of the hour. If we want to do more objections at the end, let's keep doing this, but I want to do a little strategy in terms of agent attraction. You didn't mean to do this. You just met David Golden, and it just happened. But when we look at your organization now, 1,300 people, do you know off the top of your head roughly what percentage comes from, you have two really main people I know that are all in agent attraction. Do you know what percentage comes from David Golden down and what percentage comes, do you mind sharing that from Leo?
Yeah, so there's two people that I got into a relationship with, and I'm gonna say energetically, okay? And when I say that, like I was, we were already in a relationship, like David and I, and we just clicked with everything, and he just ended up being someone who knows a whole lot of people, so that's 80%, 82%, I think, of my group, stems from that, from just David. And then the other group, myself, plus a guy named Leo Robles, and he's got another, roughly about 20% with what we've done. But I will tell you this, that one of the things that's really important is that, you can't treat people like numbers, okay? That's one of the reasons that I left KW, because it became all about how many agents I was gonna net that month. That's what I had to do. I just had to report, if I netted 6, netted 8, netted 10 agents, that means how many did I bring in and how many left. And that wasn't very fun for me. I didn't love that. It's just anyways. So one of the reasons that I'll tell you that this has grown as much as it has is because right when I looked at it, I realized for me, it was going to be a business I was going to build. And David was my first business partner. And he was excited about building. I was excited about building. And so we were very intentional about building a business. What does that take? What's involved? How do we connect with people? How do we, who do we want to be part of our business? And we were lucky enough to have like the entire country to choose from, right? And it's the same with Leo. Like, we're building a business. I speak to him 4 or 5 days a week, and we brainstorm, we strategize, we co-create, and we're building. So if you're wanting to build, you've got to be in a relationship with one of your partners, the one who's most motivated, if you're more motivated, to build with them, right? So it's yeah.
I love it. And anytime you can remind us, because it's not numbers, they are people. Each one of these people, this is their livelihood, this is their life, and it is our obligation, they're our business partner, to make sure that anyone you bring into this company, check in, make sure that they're doing okay, right? And you have two people that are the majority of your group, but it doesn't mean you ignore the rest of them. I was actually going somewhere with this, which is in EXP, to make significant money from the revenue share side, you don't need a lot of people. You could find one person that ends up being that runner that just goes. I don't think you had any idea when you met David, when you sponsored him, what was going to happen. It just happened. So first of all, don't treat everyone like a number, because you might have someone you think is going to be a rock star who doesn't do much, or someone who doesn't know anybody. I can show you example after example of people who joined EXP who have sold 0 houses and have grown massive revenue share organizations. And I guarantee the person that sponsored them had no idea what they were getting when they sponsored that person. So you love on everyone. You give them love and support. And the 1,000+ people that David has brought on, he didn't do it alone. You helped him bring on those people, right? It's a partnership. So from a strategy standpoint, if you're looking to build a big organization, you've got to be looking for, whether you call it your generals, your leaders, who it is, but then you love on them and support them. Because I know, Rosie, how much you traveled with David and with Leo, and how much you helped them and did Zooms and 3-ways, and still do, and still help all of us and anyone that, I mean, it really is a partnership.
Yeah, it is. And when you said like there's two main groups and we're talking about people, this is, I mean, I'm learning, as I go along as well. And so, there's, most recently I was looking at all the people that maybe they're not the rock stars and looking at their production. And I was thinking, okay, I really need to create something. So I grabbed some of the agents that were, that I directly sponsored, which I promised them they were going to do more business. And I started seeing that they weren't doing more business. So I have them now on a group accountability call, helping them get to the next level. And that's, it's great because in, less than a month, we've opened 2 deals, 2 escrows. And I feel good. I feel good because they're doing something. And I didn't jump on that wheel, I think early enough. I think I should have done that early on, is start coaching up my team. And now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh my God, I should have done this a long time ago. I'm helping, I'm bringing a lot of value, and it feels good. It feels good that I'm helping them.
Yeah. And that is also what I've found, and just talking to other leaders who've grown big organizations, 95% of our company focuses on working with buyers and sellers. They might attract a handful of agents, but only 5% of our company have attracted more than 5 agents. That's just the stats. That's how it goes. Most people will attract 1 or 2, right? And so when you have people, if they're focused on money today, like if you guys on this call are watching this, you're like, dude, I gotta make money now. Agent attraction is not that exciting because it's long-term money. It's like, I know it'll build it, but I gotta pay my rent or my mortgage today. So we have to come back with tools, if you're trying to attract agents, that will help them make more money today. And over time, they learn, they might get excited about agent attraction. But if you're really looking for a massive organization, keep your eye out for the business builders. The ones who, like, when you talk revenue share, they get that part, because those are going to be the ones that probably go more into the really getting into this revenue share, the building the agent attraction side. Do you agree with that, Rosie?
I do. And I also want to say that my very first check was $897. And it was just 2 agents that closed deals. Okay. Just 2 agents. I was like, oh my God. I had like 4 or 5 agents on my team. 3 of them were family and weren't doing anything. And then 2 of them were actually selling, and they closed a deal. And I was like, wow, that was a lot of money to be given, So I don't know what number changes your life, but I heard somewhere that like when the market crashed, that $500 would have saved a lot of people from losing their home. So, your goals can be crazy. My goal was never to have, that kind of money on a monthly basis. I didn't realize that was possible. I was just like, hey, extra money is going to be good. They give me, $10,000, $15,000 a year. I give them 16. I decide not to sell. I still get my 16 or 15 or 20. That's cool. $1,000, $2,000 a month, and then once I really understood it, then I compared it to all the other businesses that I have. And I realized that this is the only business that gives me one thing that none of them do. And this gives me time. I have time. I am buying my time back. So I'm happy to put in the work because I'm going to have my time back. I'm a workaholic. I'll probably just do something else with it, but, but it's nice. It's nice that, the whole country shuts down and I get one of my biggest revenue share checks, that month. So
the last 3 months have been my biggest revenue share checks through COVID.
Right.
Mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not worried about whether or not I can hold an open house or, where the next client's coming from. And that's nice. It's nice because we don't know. And I really think, Gene Fredericks says this all the time, that our business is going virtual, that he really believes that the future of real estate is virtual. And with all these mega, companies, corporations coming into the real estate space, and with technology, we've got to learn how to do business a little differently than the old ways. We could still do it the old way when we open up again, but you gotta keep, stay on your toes. So.
I love it. All right, we got 15 minutes. I want to open this up to some other questions. If anyone has questions, otherwise I got plenty more, but what questions do you guys have?
I just have a quick comment. So one thing that I would say to remind people, Jim Rohn said, you are a reflection of the 5 people you spend your most time with, right? And so when you're spending your time with people that are, producing at a higher level than you, then automatically you're just going to start producing more. And so that also could be something that you could utilize as not just saying, oh, there's these people, remind them that you're a reflection of those who you spend the most time with. And so when you can surround yourself with someone who's able to achieve things like Rosie, my God, that's amazing. 2 years, 1,300 people. I'm like, wow, I was like, I'm going to call Rosie, right? So, because Rosie knows how to attract agents. And so it's a matter of just reminding people that they have access to those things. And, there's a study called Change or Die. And the study showed that people were told that they were going to die if they didn't change their behavior. Well, after a year, 9 people would rather die than change their behavior. But the group that had coaching, accountability, and support, they were 77% more likely to change because they had coaching, accountability, and support, because they had the 5 people to help them get to that level. So remind people, it isn't about the company or the split. It really isn't. It's about the people that you have that are surrounding you to help you get there.
I got it.
I love it.
Krista, just to piggyback on that, it's so funny because I just did my Facebook Live today was on growth, and the last part of it was on creating your growth environment, and it actually goes through all of that, and being in around that kind of environment, and also how the growth models, it's expected that you're in that mindset of growth, that you're actually you're learning based, and that that you are going to invest in not only growing yourself, but then in turn you helping you grow other people around you. So it's amazing. Rosie, one of the things that I or the objections I know that comes up, people will say things like, gosh, that sounds so much like a multi-level marketing thing, and it kind of makes me laugh a little bit. I'd like to hear how you respond. I wanted to share quickly something I heard. I think it might have been Brent Conley that gave me this response on it, which is, he said, it's a revenue share. So, agents need to be in production. The agents are caring about growing their businesses. So it is about building and growing businesses first. The agent attraction, a lot of it seems to come naturally when our businesses grow and people are like, wow, that's exciting. Your business is growing. You'll naturally attract other agents. How do you address, Rosie, the multi-level marketing? Have you had that comment before?
I have. And, sometimes I just say, yeah, it's kind of like that. The difference is that we don't have to sell juice or vitamins, or, some skin product. The difference is that here you're talking to people who are already consumers. They're already selling real estate. They're licensed. They're selling real estate somewhere else. You're just giving them a different brokerage to participate in. So sometimes I say that. Sometimes I say, okay, well, let's see. How many agents are in your office? 85, Okay, so there's 85 agents. And after every closing, who gets the profit from that, right? Who gets the profit from that? And they say, well, the broker. Okay, so the broker's on top, and all the agents are down here. Okay, so what looks more like a pyramid where all the money goes to the top and nobody participates, or is it where all the agents are earning a little bit and we're working as a team, right? So that's another way that I answer it. Yeah, I mean, those are basically the 2 ways. I know there's probably better ways out there, but those are the ones I use.
Well, I love the focusing on the revenue versus the profit sharing, a revenue share, because it really is, it's about growing our businesses and becoming, better agents and collaborating with each other. And they can be in that environment, as Chris just mentioned, the environment of growth, and everybody's winning together, and we're all vested in the success as partners of each other and with each other. So I love that side of it. So anyway,
yeah. And then it's also like, look, if somebody invited me to be part of a company, they said, hey, look, I'm going to put up the technology, I'm going to put the compliance department, accounting, I'm going to put all this stuff. You're like an awesome salesperson. Would you help me grow it? Well, why would I do that? Well, if you help me grow it, I'm going to give you this part of the growth of the company. You have to change the way you look at it. That's how I looked at it. They have everything. I just need to bring people. Right.
I think it was Robert Kiyosaki in the Think and Grow Rich. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. That talked about, and he was just all about the multi, and how actually profitable, and if you're in the right organization, again with the collaboration of each other and everybody else succeeding along the way, that those multi-levels can actually be very profitable, very successful, and a win-win for everybody involved. So I think it's just how you look at it.
Love it.
I love your sign behind you. It's so awesome.
Isn't this cool? So when I ordered this thing, I thought it was just like this big, and it came in the mail. I had no idea. So I ended up making it my backdrop for my Zoom videos.
Yeah, it's super cool. Rosie, I have a quick question for you. So as a team leader, especially for Keller Williams, because they're like do or die, they just like, Keller Williams, they drink the blood. how would you go about, would you recommend going after like team leaders or larger, or because I want to focus more on larger organizations.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how to like do that.
Man, I'll tell you, the team leaders are, I mean, I have so much respect for team leaders because they work their asses off, you know.
And they don't make much money, do they?
They can make 80, 150, 200, just depending on, you know, what market they're in, right? But here's the thing, like your job is all about recruiting. But you have to do it every month. Like I just ask them, like, how many agents did you recruit, you know, last month? You know, how many did you recruit last year? Let me show you some numbers around that, right? They understand this because they recruit. They love recruiting. They love connecting with people. Some of the objections you might have is just that they have a salary, right? And so, but many team leaders have also had, you know, they've had teams or they've sold some real estate. So it's like, okay, well, if you sold one home, you know, just to kind of carry you through this, would that replace your you know, your salary, right? If you did a little bit of production while you built a company for yourself. You know, most team leaders they're brought into the company and they're sold on the idea that if you do a good job, you know, helping build my office, then maybe I'll give you 5% of it. And, you know, then you'll look at the numbers and say, well, 5% of what, right? Then ask them that, take them down that journey. Since you're a team leader, you can see the numbers. How much did your office make without the, you know, escrow and mortgage contribution? How much is this real estate company really making, right? Because that's the only thing you're taking ownership of, right? And even if you add all those other factors in, you know, look at how much the company, what are you aspiring to? What's your next step? Your next step is to what? Have an office? Let's look at those numbers, right? To have ownership interest, let's look at those numbers. If you really want to grow, you have to build for yourself. And that's ultimately what they want to do. They just don't want to let go of the salary. So you have to kind of work around their specific situation to see how they can work around the salary.
So Rosie, this is why Krista, Rosie spoke so, because I was a team leader for almost 4 years for KW. And that it was about the 2-10-40, 2 appointments a day, 10 appointments a week, 40 appointments a month. You know, I love it because it was a great experience in learning for those years too. But I got to tell you, understanding the numbers of the brokerage, because yeah, I'm just keeping the brick and mortar doors open. It was $66,000 a month, you know, just to keep the doors open, you know, so there wasn't a lot of profit there at the end once, you know, bills are paid and salaries are paid and everything else. So for the team leader, the nice thing about team leaders is that if they have been doing, you know, things a certain way and trained like the 2-10-40, you know, they do understand their numbers. And that's why when I met Rosie in Vegas and asked her, I said, somebody's got to talk to me about these numbers, you know, and I got to wrap I guess because it was ingrained in me to really understand those, but the habits have been built very strongly too, in terms of, you know, how to meet with agents and also really, you know, ask a lot of questions, like Rosie said earlier as well, asking questions about their business and finding the gaps in their businesses to help, you know, help bridge those gaps with them. So.
I love it. So we got about a couple minutes left. Rosie, if people want to reach you, Susan, thank you for the good question. Krista, thank you for the questions. How do people reach you, Rosie? Facebook, what's the email, text, what's the best way?
Texting is great. You know, if you know, want to hop on and have like a conversation, because sometimes like I get phone calls and I'm not going to answer the phone. Okay. Just if your phone comes up, I get so much spam. So text me, you know, and say, hey, this is, you know, so-and-so, part of your team, can we hop on a call, right? And I will absolutely call you back. So texting is really great. You can reach out to me on Facebook too. If we're not Facebook friends, friend request me, Rosie Rodriguez. And you can send me a messenger, but then we're just going to go from messenger to text. So my phone number is 562-244-7022. So
I typed it in the chat. 562-244-7022, right?
yes.
Cool. So I'm actually going to have a few minutes. It's funny, since Susan and Krista were both talking here, and you guys know Mike Bjorkman most likely, I'm going to tell about something we just came up with. It was actually Krista's original idea that we're running with starting Monday. Can I talk about it? Krista, Susan?
Sure.
Yep. Thumbs up. All right, cool. So Rosie, we had this idea, like you just said, you have this accountability, you know, person on your team that's helping your front line. We thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to have a daily huddle you guys know what the huddle is, right? Let's start off your day right. What if we had a daily huddle for everyone in our organization, but also make it public so that anyone who wants to use it as an attraction tool can invite people on it as well. So we have a daily huddle starting Monday. It's going to be led by Susan Johnson on Monday, Krista Mayshore me on Tuesday, Krista Mayshore on Wednesday, Mike Bjorkman on Thursday, and Fridays is going to be a rotating schedule. We'll have either people from outside EXP coming in, right? We'll have people from inside, other leaders. If you guys who like leading huddles and like training, if you want to drop on so that you can invite your guests and be like, look, I'm a leader in this organization, because you guys are. Anyone on this call is a leader in this organization. We want you to host this too. So it's going to be every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, maximum 30 minutes. Could be as short as 5, 10, 15 minutes, maximum 30 minutes. On Fridays, there's also Rick Jihad, who is Rosie's sponsor, if you want even more training. So 8 to 8:30, and then at 9 a.m., Rick does his shindig on Fridays at 9, if you don't know about that. But we're gonna roll this out. It's agentpowerhuddle.com. agentpowerhuddle.com. Don't go to it yet. It's not live yet, but it'll be live by Monday. Right, Krista? We'll get it set up by then. All right. So agentpowerhuddle.com.
I need you to help me with that.
I know I'm in charge of setting it up. But Craig, I can see you on camera. Is that an easy to remember URL? We like it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And my personal plan, guys, I'm canceling my team huddle, my sales team huddle. I am now going to leverage this as our team huddle from 8 to 8:30. And at 8:30, our sales manager is going to get on with our team on a private Zoom and spend just 5 minutes checking in on accountability for our team and then launch into prospecting. So instead of all of us recreating the wheel every week, this is something we're going to play with, and I'm pretty excited about it. So if you have any feedback,
Not only that, but then you could utilize that as a recruiting tool and say, hey, every morning 8 a.m. we have a huddle with these people, and they're all selling a lot of houses and they're here to support you and help you. It's just another way for them to, because agents need the support. So I'll tell you guys from coaching, I've questioned thousands of agents across the country, and a lot of them are from EXP. And you want to know what the one complaint is? They don't have the support. They have all the tools, but not the support, right? So you can let them know they're going to have the support to be able to learn and break through the barriers of all the stuff that's so difficult. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah. And that's it, guys. We're at the top of the hour. Everybody, Rosie, say something so you become big up on the screen.
Oh, hi. Okay. Thank you guys for having me here. And it was a pleasure, and you guys are awesome. And thank you.
Yay. So Rosie is awesome. I'm so glad you guys got to see her, because there's just a different point of view that she brings, and so much energy, knowledge, experience. And you're awesome, Rosie. Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Rosie's going to be a guest on my show on Thursday morning. So she's my special guest on Thursday coming up for the love of real estate. It'll be Rosie Rodriguez next week.
Awesome. I love it. All right, guys, enjoy your day. If you need anything, reach out to me. You know where to find me. Good to see everybody. Bye, guys.